We are
Okay.
back to back, actually. This is a little, once again, unique circumstance for us, is it not? Back to back shows on Mondays in a row?
I think it is. I think it's well, you know what? It's the holidays and anything can happen. Anything goes December.
That's right. Anything goes December. We had Giving Tuesday, which was unique because we hosted a show on a Tuesday. Then we hosted Humble Design last week, and we're getting ready to uplift Project Fire Buddies this week. So, Sia, we could not uplift any of the organizations, let alone Project Fire Buddies, this week if it were not for our Speakeasy Custom Tattoo. And if you don't know, Speakeasy Custom Tattoo is our presenting sponsor, located in the Wicker Park neighborhood of Chicago, in the historic Flatiron Building. With over 30 years of experience, they have curated a staff of magnificently talented local and international artists, and they continue to host monthly guest artists from all over the world. They're an appointment-only custom tattoo shop offering a wide range of styles and a clean and relaxing atmosphere. And no matter the style you're looking for, they can absolutely help make your vision come to life. So be sure to check out their artists on the website at www.speakeasycustomtattoo.com. Be sure to tell them Chris sent you. Sia, as you know, I love Patrick and Kelly. Patrick, my personal tattoo artist. And God, if not for them and if not for you, this show is impossible. But let's kick this thing off, huh?
Let's do it.
That song just brings me such joy. You know that. It's like a Christmas carol all year round for me, if I will.
Oh my gosh. Well, it does inspire me to play the guitar. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's like
I
just pick it up,
know.
just strum those few chords. It's all
I
good.
wish you'd play for me one of these times. I've tried to learn and I've been terrible, so I got away from it and I just stuck to listening to music as alone to creating it, of course. But how are you doing, by the way?
Doing great. Doing wonderful. Been really, really busy. It's end of year and it's always so good to finish the year on a high note. I'm not gonna lie. I've been ill for the last couple of months, and I just feel so much better. You guys, there's so much joy when you feel better. Appreciate those moments. So yeah.
Yeah. Health is wealth, as we say. And as you know, it is the illness season. My daughter's homesick today as well from school. And so I know the feeling. Hopefully I don't catch it because we have some good stuff coming up ahead. And I'd be remiss, Sia, if I can quickly. Obviously, this past week was pretty heavy in the world for many reasons. It started on Tuesday with an unfortunate circumstance at Kentucky State University in Frankfort, Kentucky, and moved on very quickly, it felt like, to Saturday, which was just a very heavy day at both the campus of Brown University and in Australia at a Hanukkah celebration. And I just want to send my love and prayers and thoughts to all those impacted throughout all of those events last week. Given my experience, you know how heavy it weighs on me at times. And I just want to just shed some light and shine some light, more importantly, on those communities and let them know we're here, whatever that looks like.
I am so sorry. When I had heard about it over the news, I was like, "Oh, Chris is not going to be happy camper," which is, I think, the importance of why the appeal and all these other organizations, plus Walking Tall movement, right? Why it exists. So yeah, I'm going to say shout out to the Walking Tall movement for everyone that has gone through something traumatic in their lives. It doesn't have to be, unfortunately, the recent mass shootings, but it could be anything. Just know that there's a community of people that are there to support you and get you in the right direction that you need. You're not alone. I think that's a big takeaway. So just like the appeal here, we're appealing to say to everyone, if you are in need or of help, please reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great segue into why I love doing the appeal, because there are great organizations, not only like ours in the Walking Tall movement, but like we're about to highlight today in Project Fire Buddies, right? There are unfortunate circumstances in many walks of life in all areas of the country, and they need help, right? Various communities need uplifting, no different than the traumatic mass shooting survivor community, whatever that may be, right? But Project Fire Buddies is just such an awesome organization because they're ran by first responders. And given our circumstances, which we just talked about, we know our first responders are at the front lines of some of these traumatic, tragic experiences, seeing some of the most horrific things known to man while putting themselves in danger. And so to know that Project Fire Buddies exist, and as we saw and we met Kurt on the Giving Tuesday event, Project Fire Buddies brings joy and hope and relief to children battling critical illnesses and their family. And as we highlighted earlier a couple weeks ago, they've done amazing work impacting over 750 children. Today they have 1,200 volunteers. They've raised nearly $4 million, growing into 165 chapters. We're going to learn all about Project Fire Buddies with the founder, Kurt DeGroot. So Sia, well, I love you and I want to keep you on the show. We're going to kick you backstage and welcome Kurt to the show.
Awesome. Thank you guys. And have a great show as always, Chris.
Drum roll. There he is, Mr. Kurt DeGroot, the founder and CEO of Project Fire Buddies, an amazing organization which we're going to learn all about. But Kurt, as you may have heard backstage, I just wanted to thank you and for your service as a first responder. Given many things in life, given my personal experiences, I know the value and of having gentlemen like you in our lives and the danger you put yourselves in. And so I just wanted to say thank you for that first and foremost.
Absolutely. I mean, to be honest with you, it's an honor to be able to serve the community and to do the things that we need to do. All first responders, they get into that line of work because they're made to be helpers, right? And that's just their path, and God pushed them in that direction, and thank God they did.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thank you and all of our first responders, of course. But you said helpers, right? And your help doesn't just stop as a first responder, not when you clock out or go home to your family, right? You've taken this calling to a greater level. So I'm so eager and honored to have you on the show today. And I'm excited for you to introduce yourself, who you are, and then talk a little bit about Project Fire Buddies.
Yeah. So like you said, my name's Kurt DeGroot. I'm a firefighter, paramedic out in the south suburbs of Chicago. I've been in the fire service since 2003. It's a great industry, one of the greatest jobs you can have. It's the fire service is a family, right? And to build that family, you then realize that part of your family is the community, and you embrace them, you take care of them, you're there on the worst days. And if you can bring a smile, help them out, whatever you need to do, you should be doing it, and what I noticed with Project Fire Buddies and why Project Fire Buddies even, why the idea even came was we were lacking in the fire service. When we would go on calls for any kind of, kid calls, they stick with you, and especially if you're a dad, they stick around. So when you see those situations occurring and it's unfolding, you do everything you can as a paramedic, as a firefighter, to help the family, to help the child, and you do those things. But when you get back to the firehouse, you kind of reevaluate and you see, okay, what could I have done better? Did everything go right? And you're constantly learning. That's just how the fire service is. And I'm confident a lot of other trades are as well. But with this one portion, we wanted to do more, and there was no way of doing more, right? And it was like we were kind of handcuffed. And how do you do more, right? So if I had this question, that means I'm confident across the country, we all have that question. So how can we do it? And that was the reason for Project Fire Buddies, right? It was a way to, let's be honest, the real heroes in the community are these children that are fighting the battle of their life. Those are the true heroes in the community. So let's honor them. Let's spoil them. Let's create more good days for them, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, and you said that statement when you so kindly joined us on Giving Tuesday, create more good days, right? And I know with certainty, and researching some of the work that you folks do and getting to know you and some of the other folks that work alongside you, the good days you create for young children. So if you would talk a little bit about what Project Fire Buddies actually does, right? I've seen some of the, and now it's the holidays, it's a little more you could see it forthcoming, right? You're giving holiday gifts and having parties, but like throughout the course of the year, there's some pretty cool stuff being done alongside some critically ill children. So why don't you talk about that if you would?
Yeah, I mean, I'm biased. I think it's the greatest charity around. But to be honest with you, why I can confidently say it's one of the best charities around, and why is because we're not a one and done charity. We don't, in those charities that do that, they serve their purpose. They do great things. I'm not knocking them. For us, we don't only bring over the PS5s, the Xboxes, the Legos. We do all of that. That stuff's cool, right? And we do it throughout the year, right? And we sporadically, spread it out. But what I find from the families, the real impact is when the firefighters are creating the bond with the kids. And when those bonds occur, and that's when true impact happens, right? These families, if you have it in your community, a child in the community, they rally around them, and they really get behind them, especially when they're battling cancer, things like that. And it's a beautiful thing. But what normally happens, like a typical ALL diagnosis for a child is anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 years of treatment. Now, in those situations, those families, one of the parents end up having to take a leave of absence from their job. They focus, their world's turned upside down, right? And the communities were embracing, they're there, but the next thing happens in the community, and it's no fault to the community, but there's other things going on. This family is still dug in deep, going for the fight of their life with their child. So we're there to help with those moments, right? And when I hear from a family and they tell me, because I'll ask families, what does this organization mean for you? And they tell me, and it's like, in one of our families, the mom actually, she coined the term. She goes, Project Fire Buddies creates more good days for us. When our child is going through this, just for them to have a good day, those are the highlights, right? We're looking for those days, those moments, those memories. So also what I've heard from families is when these children that are they're battling, they passed before Fire Buddies was around, they were known as the sick child at school. Oh, that kid's sick. That kid's, and it's unfortunate, and they are, but now they're known as Fire Buddies. And now it's, oh, that's little Susie, that's little Johnny. Yeah, they're buddies with the firefighters, blah, 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 and it kind of gives them this badge of courage, and it should, because they have this workforce that literally will go through a cinder block wall for you, and they're in your back pocket, and they're creating those moments. They're there for you in the tough times. One of my favorite things that it's a sad story, but it's really meaningful when we've had several fire buddies that have passed away, and on their last day, the firefighters have had the honor of being there with the family on that time. I mean, to be involved that much into that family, that's true impact. You can't explain that any better than at the worst time in their life that most parents, and thank God, most parents won't ever have to see. The door was open for them to be there because they brought some comfort to the room,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a father,
I got stories for days. I can go on for.
I know. I
10
don't know if I
hours.
can handle them, frankly. Right, as you said, being a dad, right, and knowing that even though my daughter's sick today with a cold, right, she's not critically ill, and anytime she gets sick or my son gets sick, I'm like pampering him to the nth degree, right, and that's just a little sniffles. I could only imagine, and having an organization like Project Fire Buddies. To walk alongside a family as they're grieving or as they're celebrating or whatever it is that family needs to do in that moment in time. I can only imagine, it just is a testament to the old saying, right? It's better to give than receive, right? And you didn't just start, you don't just have one or two guys or gals doing this as firefighters, right? There's 165 chapters across the United States. That's no small feat, given you're also a first responder, as we talked about earlier. So can you really get into a little bit of the nitty gritty? How did this grow from the south suburbs of Chicago to a national organization?
All organically, 100% organically. And this is probably one of the best things about it, is that we have never walked into a fire department and said, hey, you should start Project Fire Buddies. Every single chapter that we have is because that chapter wanted to start a chapter in their own fire department. So that means 165 different departments approached us And that shows that they have the passion. That shows that they want it. They want to own it, and they want to change the world on their own. Like, that is a beautiful testament to the fire service across the board. When you see the fire service step up to the plate, I mean, I can walk into a firehouse and I can tell everybody why it's a good idea, but I want them to have the passion behind it. And that's what we see. We're in 14 different states now. And just to kind of show the impact a little bit, I got a call from a chapter, and it was Christmas time. It was last Christmas, and it was a great conversation. You know, the chapter's like, "Hey, Kurt, you know, I got this child, you know, and this child's, unfortunately, he's terminal, right? And this little guy, he's 12 years old. He's right in he's in travel baseball. In this kid's mind, he's going to the MLB, right? He wants to go to the MLB, and he's going to stand up there and he's going to get his dream, right? And when I say this kid is battling, I mean, he's wheelchair bound. He is so sick, can't get out of bed. His request for Christmas was this $500 baseball bat that he never could get, right? And the chapter called me and they're like, "Kurt, you know, I want to get it, but I'm worried that we're going to get this bat and it's not going to be used." You know, he goes, I don't want to say that, but I just not sure what to do. And just for a minute, I thought about it and I'm like, what is that baseball bat? It's not just a $500 baseball bat. That baseball bat is creating hope. And can you put a price on hope? Because I can't. So I'm like, yeah, full send. We're getting it. Let's get it. Let's get it immediately.
Let's get two. Let's send both.
Yes, both right. And so now we got several other gifts, right? And this child, the only gift the kid really wanted was that baseball bat. So now that child, when they're feeling too sick and they're sitting in their room and they feel like they can't move, they're going to look at that baseball bat and that kid's going to say, "You know what? I'm going to use that bat. I'm going to make it to the MLB." You know, he's going to keep that hope and keep that drive. And what an honor for us to be able to provide hope for a kid like that. Like, that's the honor, right? Like, it's nothing about Kurt DeGroot. Nobody cares about Kurt DeGroot. Nobody cares about anybody who's doing it. They care about that child and the impact. And that impact reverberates throughout the organization.
Kurt, how did you know I was a baseball guy? That story tugs at my heartstrings more than most, right? Like, you may not know, I played college baseball at Iowa. I was a Division I coach for 10 years. Like, baseball gave me everything, frankly. And I wouldn't be who I am, if that's anybody, to brag about without baseball, right? Like, the game of baseball has taught me so much in life, and I'm so honored to continue to coach youngsters myself. But, you know, I know what it's like when you want to get on the field and you can't, right? And I've been around kids in some of those similar circumstances, and you just get them the bat and the glove and the helmet and the cleats and anything else they want, right? Because hope is priceless, frankly. And that's why I'm just so honored to have you on and talk more about Project Fire Buddies. But the work doesn't come free, right? You know, we've talked a little bit backstage at times about the funding and the amount of work it takes as the CEO on your plate, right, to raise funds. And I know you guys have the Ignite the Light Gala coming up in next year, early on in February. So talk a little bit about the finances of your organization, how you're funded, and then, you know, of course, let's hype up the upcoming gala.
All right. So I love numbers. So I'm going to throw out a whole bunch of numbers to everybody. So with that, so Project Fire Buddies, obviously we've been growing substantially year after year, and it's been organic and it's beautiful. And it's just the community getting behind these families. When it comes to all of the funding and all of that stuff, when it comes to charities, there's usually like they're like this black eye. They're worried, they're worried about the numbers, and so fact-based information here. There's 2 million nonprofits in the United States. Okay. With that 2 million nonprofits in the United States, Project Fire Buddies, by the amount of income that they bring in and the amount of income that goes to the cause, to the mission itself, we sit in the top 4%. Okay. Top 4% of charities across the US. Now I'm going to double down on that a little bit more. With that, in that top 4%, because of our numbers, meaning how much money, each dollar that's spent that goes actually towards the mission, we're gonna then flip it even more. In that top 4%, we sit in the top 1% of that 4% because of our spending and how we spend, because we spend very wisely. We obsess about it. It's not just me throwing a cape on being a hero. This is every person that comes in that does the work for Project Fire Buddies. We have an incredible team, and the sacrifices that all of us make, it's unreal. So when I give you the numbers, the IRS will tell you you're a good nonprofit if you're 60-40, meaning 60% to the mission, 40% to the other stuff, right? You get the big thumbs up for Mr. Uncle Sam if you could say 60 cents of every dollar goes to the mission. Project Fire Buddies, we think that's atrocious. We are going to hit it out of the park. Going back to your baseball analogy, I'm a baseball guy too. So,
all right.
With that being said, I'm proud to say that in 2024, our 990, we came in at 89% to the mission for our organization. So that means when you give a little over a dime, every dollar you give, a little over a dime goes towards our fundraising costs, our administration costs. The other 89 cents is going towards these families in this mission. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's something we are very, very proud of.
Yeah, as you should be. I know with all the work that I do in fundraising and running, building my own foundation, right, as hard as that is, right, how lean you have to run and how much you have to rely on the volunteers and those in your circle to give back and donate and attend a Night Delight Gala, right? I mean, it's just so inspiring, right, to know, and deservedly so, right, to these kids, that amount of money that's going right back to them so they can't have $500 baseball bats, as crazy as it is to think a baseball bat costs $500, right? But it's just so inspiring, and certainly no small feat, right? And we wanted to talk about the Ignite the Light Gala, right? This is a big source of funding for you folks. Among private donations, et cetera. But talk a little bit about it, because you guys sell out in the blink of an eye, 1,500 attendees. Let's hype this thing up, because we want to raise as much money as possible.
Yeah, so our Ignite the Light Gala is actually first time this year. Well, every year we've expanded a little bit more. We squeeze a little bit more, right? 1,500 of our closest family and friends, right? They come, they enjoy the night out, but we don't just make it a fundraiser, right? It is very necessary for us to raise funds during this gala, but it's not just a fundraiser. Something else that we do that's kind of against the norm is we give $36,000 in tickets away to our Fire Buddy families. Wow. We don't just pick one or two families that we will honor at the event. No, we throw out $36,000 worth of tickets to these families so the kids can come out, they can attend. If the parents want a night out, because they definitely deserve a night out, they're going to get this night out. So now at this gala, we fill this room, right? You may have been to many galas. You've never seen a Project Fire Buddies gala, because at the Project Fire Buddies gala, we bring a fire engine inside the building, right? and it's the backdrop to the bar, right? Like, that's what we do. We bring the Project Fire Buddies fire engine inside the building. We bring our pickup truck inside the building. I remember when we made that request, I told them, if you want to host us, we need to bring an engine inside. And that's what we did. So, and it's beautiful. So we fill the room up. We have silent auctions. We got raffles. We got all that. But then we have celebrity guests that come out and they hang out. It's dinner, drinks, dancing. You get to see the Fire Buddies out there dancing with their firefighters. Like, it's a beautiful thing, you know, and we actually opened up the room a little bit more, and we actually have a few more seats available. So you can find that right on our website.
Yeah, get your tickets. If you haven't already scanned that QR code that Sia has been so kindly putting up, and that'll take you directly to the Project Fire Buddies website, projectfirebuddies.org. Once again, that's projectfirebuddies.org. You can see all the information about the Ignite the Light Gala coming up on February 7th, as well as make a donation or two if you'd like, and see about some of the upcoming events that Project Fire Buddies has in store for some of their little fire buddies. Kurt, we could go on and on and on and on. But again, for so many reasons, you as a person inspire me. The work of Project Fire Buddies inspires me. It's an honor to have you on the show today. I wanted to give you one last chance before we say goodbye. Is there anything you wanted to highlight before, or that I missed, or anything else you want to highlight about Project Fire Buddies?
Yeah. So the one thing I did, I missed real quick is our swag. So if you can't donate if you can't attend the gala. Our swag is the most popular swag out there. It's pfbswag.com. It's the most comfortable t-shirts you'll ever wear. And I mean, we have over 85,000 shirts out there in the public. But the shirt does more than just buying a shirt, right? When a fire buddy is at a grocery store with their parents and they see somebody wearing that shirt, that shows that they're part of that family, right? Mm-hmm. And it creates this movement. And it's a movement of people that just want to do good for the real heroes in the community, which are these kids. And if you aren't, or you don't know about Project Fire Buddies and you want to get involved, please hit the website. Come hang out with us. Come hang out with us at the gala, because the gala will blow your socks off. I guarantee that.
Love it, love it, love it. So if you haven't already, scan that QR code. It'll take you to projectfirebuddies.org. As Kurt just said, if you're looking to get some merchandise or give a gift or two, a stocking stuffer to a little buddy in your life, go to pfbswag.com. Did I get that right, Kurt? pfbswag.com. There you can find some amazing merchandise. 85,000 shirts already been sold today. Did I hear that right? Holy cow. I know a little bit about merchandise, going to as many concerts as I do. That's pretty impressive, and I'm sure it's creating a movement, as you said. So pfbswag.com. Kurt, talk a little bit lastly about you, right? Where can somebody find you, connect with you, reach out to you if they want to start a chapter, donate, start whatever it is how can they get a hold of you as the main man at Project Fire Buddies?
So we actually have a whole onboarding team on our website. You go on our website and you could say, start a chapter, you fill out the form, and we have, every Tuesday we have prospective chapter meetings. So you'll sit in, it's a quick, kind of like a Zoom chat, and we'll go over with all the prospective departments to see if it works for you and your department. Like I said, it's very low labor. We really, okay, I'm going to say it. The Fire Buddies crew, the office handles the unsexy work, and the firefighters, we let you do the sexy work, right? That's what we highlight, because you guys are there making the impact. It's not me, it's not them. You guys are on the boots on the ground. The guys and gals out there in the big red engines and trucks are making the impact. So it's very easy to join. You just have to have a commitment.
Love it. So if you haven't already, go to their website, projectfirebuddies.org. You can find all the information if you want to start a chapter, get more information about the Ignite the Light Gala on February 7th. And if you want to get a shirt, pfbswag.com. Kurt, it's been an honor. Thank you so very much. As you know, support is critical in all areas of life, and this show would not be possible once again without for our sponsor, Speakeasy Custom Tattoo. I'm sure there are many firefighters in your circle who are tattoo enthusiasts, so if you don't mind, send them Speakeasy's way. They do amazing work. I can connect you. And of course, if not for Sia, Tornrat, and Brilliant Beam Media, this show would not be possible. She's the brain behind the engine. I'm just a pretty face in front, like you said about your first. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know if I'm pretty, but I'll just say I am. Sia makes this thing click. Brilliant Beam Media is amazing. So check them out if you have any production or content creation needs. Then we have some other sponsorships. So Kurt, stick around backstage. Thanks once again for having the time to come on the show. I appreciate it so much. Hail, hail.
Falling asleep with your neck in the wrong position can be a real pain in the neck. Literally. People of all ages are falling for Tossie. Tossie gives you the comfort you've always dreamed of. Go to TossieBrands.com and get your comfort on.